Welcome. Today we're going to go through Dexta Versions 1.3 and 1.4. Now before we get too stuck into that, I do want to preface that by saying that you need to be on ProfitTrack version 3.11.922, so just something to keep in mind. Now while you're in the Dexta software, click on the lines in the top left, click on About, and it's going to come up saying what version it's on. So in this case 1.4, so I know that all the functionality I'm about to talk about will be in there. So if I head back out of there, also that's where you also get your release notes if you need them and you're not going to this video for them. So we'll cover 1.3 first because it's the shorter one out of the two. So starting in ordering, if I bring that up and scan my test product, which is just some chewing gum. There we go, cool. So it will have the current carton cost and the unit. So you can see up there we got the current at $16.84 and the unit at $2.81. And you'll also see the current sell and normal sell, which is just down here, so $4.13 for both in this case. So that was all added in Dexta version 1.3. And the other part of 1.3 was under the scan and count. So I'll just remove that. Scan and count, so same thing, I will bring up our Wrigley's. There we are. So we have a quantity on order of 5. So that's new. That's what it's showing, that we have 5 there. Now, alternatively, the thing to mention is if it was a price embedded barcode instead of a count of units 1, it would be weight 1. So a kilo or gram or however it's set up to. Just to keep in mind. So that was Dexta version 1.3. So I'll delete that and we'll go through Dexta version 1.4. So in Dexta version 1.4, we have some changes to pretty much all of these screens, but we'll start with the ordering specifically. So if I go into the ordering, there's this multi-tick box in the top right here, and if we click on that, we're going to be presented with 3 options. The first is to choose a supplier for this order. So I'll say OK to that. It's going to give me a list of all the suppliers. Now at this point, I do need to just repeat it. If you aren't on the correct ProfitTrack version, this list will not populate with the suppliers. Just something to keep in mind. So if I scroll down here, I'm going to choose one that has a couple of products. There we go, 240, perfect. So right now you can see down the bottom, the supplier is the Alpen products. So if I now try and scan a product that doesn't belong to that supplier, that's what's going to come up, nothing found. Now, what I can also do though, is I can fill with all the supplier products, meaning I'll get a list of all 240, or I can search and add products by the supplier by clicking OK on that one. And it's going to give me a list of all the 240 products, but instead I can just tick the specific ones I want to go into this batch. There we go. So I've added some napkins, some red P250s, and some balloon ribbons. So that's the way you can use that. So that tick box with the multi options there, that's all new functionality, specifically in Dexta version 1.4. So I'll close out of this. So that was it for ordering. So I'll go into scan and count now. So one of the things to mention in scan and count is that you can now extract things by from the catalog if they're not found. So I'm going to type in one that I had from my catalog. Bear with me. 241001118. So apologies, naturally you wouldn't have to do that, you could just scan it. I have to type it in because I don't have that product in front of me, but I can go extract catalog by search PLU. So in this case it was 20 squares chalk dark 100 gram, which is exactly what it was. So I'll click extract. And now it's asking how many because we are in scan and find, so I can say just 5 or something like that, that's fine. So there we go. So that product wasn't in the system at all. Now it is in both Dexta and ProfitTrack, and I'm saying, hey, there's 5 on the shelf, let's put that into the system. So I will actually send that through to the back office. There we go. Excellent. Now, markdowns, if I move across to those. Now, most of this isn't actually in the Dexta, it's in the background of the program, and it's in ProfitTrack. However, markdowns now maintain the barcode type in the label so that the product is correctly determined when it's scanned at the point of sale. So what that means is that ProfitTrack can now identify specifically the markdowns done by Dexta. So there has been a report added to ProfitTrack which was added into the reports, management reports, Dexta Markdown. I will demonstrate that in a moment. And that report will give you all of the markdown audits of the products and so on. So in Profit Track, the two areas to talk about is going to be the new report for the markdown. So in reports, management reports, about halfway down, you'll have a Dexta markdown log. Now I haven't done any markdowns from this Dexta because I don't have a printer attached to it, but essentially it's just an audit that shows you all the things that have been put on markdown and when, so that you can kind of see what might be happening in the store a little bit better. So in the next one, which is shelf audit, we have added weekly sales history for the products. So I'll go into shelf audit. Now I am going to preface this by saying I don't have any sales on my demonstration product here, but if I click on the more there, I've got sales.w, which is the weekly sales, and it's going to give me all of the weeks. Now it would remove all the zero values, but in this case I have nothing but zeros values, so it's going to demonstrate that, which is totally fine. So that was what was added to shelf audit. And the last one, which is if you scroll down on the Memore model, you're not actually going to have a scroll bar, but it is there, which is locations. So locations need to be set up in Profit Track, but if they have been, you'll have them in here, which is basically your aisle numbers, and you can associate products to the aisle numbers. So what you can do is click on aisle number 1, for example. It's going to open that aisle and it's going to bring up the bays and shelves. So again, I can click on bay 1, shelf 1, that's fine. And in that section, I can say, hey, we've got one of our Wrigley's, and you can say how many facings you've got as well. So it may be more than one, that's fine. I'll say 5 because that's the number I've been sticking with at the moment. And we'll go. Now, once that's done, you'll have the upload button like you can see there. So I will click upload. Now, it just disappears from this screen, but what will happen is it will go to tickets shelf positions in Profit Track, where you load the PDE session and then you can process the newly configured locations to the products through Profit Track. Now, if you need to add those bays and such to products, what you'll do is if I go back a bit, go into my shelf audit, I'll scan my product, go into more, go into location, and I can add the location. So I can say it's aisle 1, bay 1, shelf 1, how many facings we've got, 5, add, there we go. So at that point, we now have a location on our product. So, and I will just say, you can also swipe on that to delete it should you need to at any point. So if we go into comms PDE functions and then go into set stock location from PDE, click on new load, and we'll be able to see, besides the Dexta counts, we'll have an upload locations from Dexta. So if I click OK on that, there's our Wrigley Extras, the demonstration product we've done, and we can see there it's under aisle 3, bay 1, shelf 1, and I'll process that. This will update the stock location on the selected products. Do I want to continue? I'm going to say yes, because may as well. I assume that's correct. And there we go. So that is now updated correctly so that that product is in the right location, and that is how locations work. So if you have any questions, give us a buzz on 1-800-020-946. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!